How you doing, everybody? I'm 250 from 250's Custom Apparel, and this is Simple Sublimation. This is gonna be a quick course on the basics of sublimation, from A to Z, from substrate to transfer. I have the lovely Johnny, my daughter. She'll be joining me in every episode.
Hello.
She's been doing sublimation for a handful of years herself. I'll say about 3 strongly, and she has a lot to bring to this also. I didn't want it to be boring with just me, so we're gonna be giving you guys tips and tricks that we've learned along the way, and also we'll be sharing anything that you guys would like us to share about sublimation. So don't forget to leave any questions that you have in the comments, and also like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Okay?
Yes, as he said before, this is a father-daughter sublimation channel. Thank you.
So we're going to start with what is sublimation. That's the title of this episode. What is sublimation? So we'll start there. Dye sublimation is a digital printing technology that uses heat transfer to apply an image intended for a substrate. Also referred to as digital sublimation, the process is commonly used for decorating apparel, signs, banners, as well as other items with any sublimation-friendly surfaces. Dye sublimation printing features the two-part process. Print graphics onto a special transfer paper using a sublimation printer, which we'll show you guys that episodes down, and inks. Use a heat press to transfer the ink on the paper to the substrate. So, with that being said, and pardon my fumble reading, this is what we call a transfer. This is a heat transfer, sublimation heat transfer. Why is it a heat transfer? Because the ink is applied to the substrate once the heat reaches a certain temperature. Now, I have a TransPro 15 by 15 press. That's the press that we're going to be using for a lot of these. We have larger presses, but 15 by 15 seems to be the most commonly used size. So we're going to go with 15 by 15 here. We use 385 for 45 seconds. Now, I will always encourage, and Johnny will tell you also, come here, sir.
Okay.
We like to get to know our heat press, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in doing that, initially when you purchase a printer or a heat press, it'll come with instructions. Most of them will. This printer had instructions. It'll give you a series of temperatures. That's their preferred temperatures, or that's what they suggest for their printer and their products. We, however, go and we find what's best for us, correct?
Yes.
And that's what you have to do. Sometimes you'll feel like, oh, I'm going against the paper. We went through that for a couple of years, but now we've got it down, and we want to share that with you guys. So, with that being said, everyone asks always, the first question is, what do you print on with sublimation? What type of material? What type of material we using, John?
100% polyester.
Say it one more time.
100% polyester.
One more time, because people will say, but can I sublimate on cotton? What are we sublimating on, John?
100% polyester. Another thing is you cannot sublimate on any black apparel. It doesn't matter if it's a piece of fabric. It doesn't matter if it's a shirt, hoodie. You cannot sublimate on black.
There you go. Very good. So, we're going to come over here with our first item. We're going to sublimate today, you guys. I know you saw the title and thought we were just going to be giving you guys a definition. Nope, we're going to have some fun. So, this is called a
Teflon sheet.
No, pillow. There you go. Well, I mean, honestly, it's thin enough to be a sheet now. We're going to buy more pillows. This is a Teflon pillow, you guys, okay? And we use this because sometimes when you have a garment, or you have fabric, or you have any type of polyester, when you go to sublimate, the image may have creases in it. It may not cover the entire surface area. If you've ever tried to sublimate, you may notice that that's happened a few times. It will be lighter in areas. Typically, that's indicative of a pressure issue, but it's also a pillow issue. So,
and another, sorry to cut you off, but
no,
another
man,
thing
is
we did not start out with a Teflon pillow or anything of that sort. This is like, and it's not, It's not required. It's not like a must-have thing. It is.
No, it's not
really
necessary. It's not necessary, but it will make the difference in the overall outcome. But Johnny is right.
Would you like to let them know another option if they don't, have the time to buy a Teflon pillow?
Absolutely. Another option, if you don't have the time or the resources to obtain a Teflon pillow, would be to find maybe a specific towel that you don't use for anything else. Because the whole object of what you're trying to do is you want to raise the fabric. So once the press is applied and the heat starts to transfer, you want it to transfer evenly throughout the entire garment. So with that being said, we have our Teflon pillow down. We also have now, what I will show you is parchment paper. You always want to have parchment paper. Some people may call it butcher paper. They even have Teflon paper. I'll show you. We have Teflon sheets, but I prefer using a few Teflon sheets. I personally prefer to use parchment paper, and here's why. A great deal of time that you're going to be sublimating, you're going to find out that using the parchment paper, using the Teflon sheets will have it ghost more often than not, or it won't transfer the way that it should. It'll make it seem like the heat is uneven. So we're going to use parchment paper, and this is just to make sure that your pillow doesn't get any ink on it, or whatever you're going to have up under it, the ink doesn't transfer to that. It'll transfer to the paper. All right. So now we're going to lay our polyester down.
And be very careful while doing this because the press is hot.
Press is very hot. She's right. And we have an image that we selected. It's not proprietary to us. Versace is not our brand. Okay. This is clearly just an image we downloaded strictly for the purposes of showing you guys how the sublimation process goes. So we're going to place the image, and I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I look to the back of the press most of the time. You see there's a little gap right there. There's almost like a little hallway. Well, it's kind of like a bootleg way to measure or gauge exactly if your item is straight or not. Now, another thing is we do have heat tape. We're not going to use it on this because it's not necessary on this, but certain products or certain garments, yes, we will be using heat tape on. This, however, is not one of them, and as you get to know Johnny and I, you'll see that we don't use heat tape a lot. We only use it when it's absolutely necessary. So, with that being said, we're going to take one more sheet of parchment paper, okay? We're going to come over the top of our image, all right? We're at 385 for 45 seconds, and you should always check your pressure, you guys. You don't have to come straight down. Check your pressure. See if it's where you want. See? Nah, we want our pressure, man, it's a little more firm than that. So we're going to go right there.
Explain to them how the pressure works and stuff, because...
Right. Well, your pressure is probably going to be set initially when you get the press. If you don't have digital pressure, if you have a manual pressure knob like we do here, it's probably going to be set to the lightest, meaning the least amount of pressure. You're going to have to go yourself and find out exactly what works for you, because, like, for instance, with this image, we don't need a great deal of pressure because sublimation doesn't happen through pressure. It happens through the heat. So you just have to make sure that your heat is at a particular place. So we're going to come down 385 for 45 seconds with light pressure, light to medium. I call that light. Light pressure. 35 seconds to go. And like I said, you guys, this is the first episode, so any questions you have, anything that you would like us to know, just put it down in the comments, okay? We're here to help, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're starting out with the basics because we want everyone to be included in this. We don't want anyone to feel left out. Mistakes will be made. Mistakes have been made. Anyone that's in this business understands that mistakes are a part of it.
And also, it's okay to like mess up on a bunch of stuff. The amount of like money that like we've spent on.
We're at 0 seconds. So here we are. Voila. And as you can see, here we are. Okay? So we have successfully sublimated our first image onto our first substrate, which was 100% polyester. And that's how you get the vibrance in the image, you guys. That's how you get the image to transfer 100%. Now, we will show you blended garments, 80%, 90%. We'll run a few tests so you guys can see yourself what you prefer and what your customers prefer. But just to be proper, right? Sublimation happens through 100% polyester. There's a gaseous ink that transfers, as you can see, and we achieve that. Okay? So, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Johnny, come here. Anything you want to add?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What she was saying before it went off is that you will run through resources attempting to try to perfect everything. Don't worry about that. Go to the stores. We went to Hobby Lobby to source this fabric. So that's what I would suggest. Don't go buying t-shirts and buying garments trying to practice sublimation, because it's going to become very expensive and that might become very frustrating. So go to your local Hobby Lobby or wherever your craft store, Joann's, any fabric store, Michael's, and they sell the fabric, man. I mean, you can get yards of this stuff for like a few dollars. Okay, I think I paid maybe $12 for like 3 yards or something like that. So you go and you just pick your colors and practice on this stuff until you get it right, and then you start working on the garments. All right? All right, thank you guys. We'll see you on the next episode.